long day of eating hot lead, there's nothing better than drinking a cold Miller Lite. Light sure tastes great, and it really is less filling.
Shoot, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Hey, Joe, give me another. That didn't fill me up at all.
They came to your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer with strict orders. Mark down every car in stock. Get a great deal on Chrysler New York or Landau with better owner care than any GM sedan. Your dealer could pass along up to an additional $1,600 with factory-to-dealer discount. They came, they saw, and they tagged. So for your blue and white clearance deal, hurry in before it's gone.
See Hub South, Ernie Von Schledorn, Russ Darrow, Hub Suburban, Ewald.
Hey, Dad, motor oil. We need some.
Yeah, well, just get the bargain brand, Sonny.
But, Dad, Valvoline makes the highest quality motor oil recommended by any automobile manufacturer.
Ah, quality schmality buster. I'd rather save money.
Hey, but there's a 15-cent rebate on every quart of Valvoline we buy.
Oh, sure, smart guy, but what about the 25-cent postage stamp?
But, Dad, this is an instant 15-cent rebate. We get our savings now.
Look, just get the Valvoline like I told you, or I'll sink you like a 3-foot putt.
It wasn't a fantasy.
We are under a rain delay at Tiger Stadium. The ground crew is coming out now, and they will try to remove the tarp, and we will hopefully get back to baseball here. We are in the top of the third inning. The Brewers lead the Tigers 1-0. Let's recap the scoring so far for you. The Brewers had 3 hits in the first inning. Molitor, an infield single. He was moved over on a bunt by Robin Yount with 1 out and scored on Rob Deere's line drive base hit to left field for a 1-0 Brewer lead. And since then, Frank Tanana has retired 7 with the aid of a double play. On the other side for the Tigers, a couple of walks given up by Wegman in the first, and Chet Lemon drove a ball with 2 outs right to the wall and right. Deere hauled it in to get out of the jam, and then in the second inning, Wegman turned the Tigers down 1-2-3. So that's how it stands, with the ground crew about ready to undo the work they did a few minutes ago, and they did it very quickly when the rains just dumped on Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, I think they got a pretty good report, don't you, Jim? Because Larry Barnett called for that ground crew very, very quickly. He called for the crew, and they get out, put it on in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, 2 minutes at the most. And the rain lasted about 7 or 8. And Barnett went looking for the ground crew, and I think they were on their break.
Our job's done.
Yeah, we're done. We only work 10 minutes every hour, and then you're going to have to come find us. But
call us when the rain stops.
The stands are starting to fill up again. People coming back to their seats, and it's just a matter of time. I don't think a whole lot of, well, there was literally no damage done to the infield as we see the tarp being taken off. And this outfield here at Tiger Stadium drains very, very well. They've got drains all over the outfield where if it gets a lot of rain, they can just take those out of the ground and squeegee the rain down into it. So this ballpark can stand a lot of rain.
Once again, Bob Bach of WVTV Super 18 is with us tonight, enjoying the ball game, which is on hold at the moment. But boy, you came by at the right time there. Helped us fill a little bit, talk a little bit about Marquette basketball and Badger basketball coming up on Super 18, and we thank you for that. You going to stick around for a while?
I sure am.
You're going to go live tonight,
My
huh?
pleasure.
You're going to be doing the sports live after the ball game?
Right. Our nightly news will be going on air after the ball game tonight, and we'll do the sports segment from here. Mike, you mentioned a moment ago the fans coming back to the stands. My question for both of you guys is, where are the fans? I mean, we're looking at a first-place city here. Where are the fans?
You know, it's interesting, Bob. Last night we said that, well, this will probably be the smallest crowd of the weekend series. I think, what did they have, 23,000 here last night? Right. You know, the Tigers have played poorly for about the last 3 weeks. I'm just wondering if the fans are convinced that this ball club is going to win. But you made the remark, and I think it's true, that even if the Brewers were playing bad, but they were in first place by September 1, County Stadium would be filled to the rafters, and they'd be rocking at County Stadium.
I have a feeling that's true. On a Friday night, it'd be hard to get a good seat.
Holiday weekend.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it really is.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be hard to get a ticket when they come home. 7 games out, maybe less, Mike. The Chicago White Sox are in on Monday and Wednesday this week, to be followed by Seattle Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I would think they'd have decent crowds for those ball games with the Brewers getting back in the race.
Absolutely.
It's funny how a whole season can transpire, and what you get down to as you enter the month of September is something much what the Brewers themselves are in, and that is right on the edge, you know, kind of almost not even knocking on the door yet, but at least walking up the sidewalk to that pennant race.
Well,
it's amazing.
It is amazing, and I think that's one of the interesting things about baseball. Baseball is so different from any other sport simply because the season is so long. You know, a club gets off to a bad start in April, and people begin to write them off. But they have, you know, they've got 120 ball games left to play. Now, Baltimore, obviously, the way they started, we're out of it from the beginning by May 1st. But, you know, you remember, Jim, when we went to New York and Boston, and it was a very, very, we thought, crucial road trip. And it was, really, because if they had played better during that road trip, they'd be in a much better position now. But they're back in position where if things happen right, you know, a lot of things have to happen right, they're still right in this race.
It's amazing to me, and, you know, along with that, doubly amazing is that neither Boston nor New York have really established themselves, nor have they taken advantage of the situation that Detroit has offered them, and I can't understand that.
Well, especially Boston. You know, New York has just been playing so poorly of late, and they're having more problems off the field than they are on the field. In fact, over the wire tonight, I saw that John Candelaria has asked not to return next year. He doesn't want to come back.
I'm sure that'll go over in a big way.
Yeah, Mattingly is upset. I mean, there's just so many problems there. But Boston has to be kicking themselves for not taking advantage of this Tiger streak.
It's really amazing that three teams at the top would all play this poorly, if you will, at the same time. The Yankees lost 20 games in August. They hadn't done that as a franchise since 1917. That's how poorly they've been playing. Boston not taking advantage of Detroit losing 8 of 10.
Well, take a look at the standings, guys, and I think what's very, very interesting here, and I don't know if it's parity, if it's a shift, or what it is, but the Tigers leading the American League East, they have the worst record of all 4 division leaders. And in so many years past, the American League East was considered the strong division where 6 teams were playing over 500 baseball. That's not the case anymore. The American League East, and we talked about it in the spring, Jim, nobody is that strong to run away with it. A few teams got hot. The Yankees got hot, but they had their pitching weaknesses. You know, the Red Sox got off to a slow start. They went on a roll in the middle of the year, but they have their obvious weaknesses. The Tigers are a good ball club, but they haven't been hitting. So there is no one dominant team in this division.
No. Let me throw this one out to you because you've seen the clubs and seen them frequently, and that is who's going to be representing the World Series from the American League? Will it be Oakland? Will it definitely be a Western Division team, do you think?
That's hard to say in a short series. You know, I think last year, I still think that the Tigers were a better ball club all around than Minnesota. Either whoever represented the East, Tigers or Toronto. Yeah. Toronto kind of blew it at the end. But you get into a short series with a day off, and in fact, we worked those over at your former employer. But in a short series, you can cover up for a lot of weaknesses. And that's difficult to tell. I think the Oakland A's are the best team in the American League right now. There's no question about it. But when you go 5 or 7, you never know.
I think it's kind of unfortunate that there isn't a better race in the West. I mean, just really for fan involvement in the game of baseball, if you look beyond the American League East, you won't see a decent pennant race anywhere else on the horizon. I'm talking about having 3 teams within 5 games of one another or something like that. It's just not out there.
Well, that's how dominant Oakland has been this year because the Twins have really played good baseball. If the Twins, let's see, who's in 3rd place over there?
Kansas City, Mike, 12 and a half.
Yeah. They're 12 and a half back, but when you look at their records, if they were in the East this year, there'd only be 4 or 5 out.
I see what you mean.
And what I'm saying is Oakland has been so dominating this year that they're just running away from it all. The Twins haven't played that bad baseball. It's just that Oakland has been that much better.
Minnesota at 74 and 59 is exactly at the same point Boston is. So if Minnesota were in the East, they'd be 1 game out instead of 9 and a half. Your point is well taken.
That's what I'm saying, how things have changed over the period of the last couple of years where any team that was close to 500 in the Western Division by September 1 had a chance to win it.
Yeah, that was a plus.
Yeah, it was.
We were talking earlier, and we don't have the exact numbers on this, but there are teams in the East that have better records since after the All-Star break than Detroit. So this thing is really closing up.
I think the Brewers, I thought I saw a stat today, the Brewers, it's either since the All-Star break or maybe this month, are the only team in the East to be playing above 500 baseball. And Baltimore, over the last 30 ball games, has played better than Detroit.
Wow. So things are starting to close up. This is going to be an interesting race. Now, you've been through it. Are teams thinking about the race in earnest on September 1st or 2nd, or do they look at the final 2 weeks as that sprint to the finish?
You know, it may sound very trite, and you hear it every day from the managers, the players, when they say we play them one at a time. I think that at this time of the year, everybody's looking at that scoreboard to see how Boston's doing or how New York's doing or how your nearest competition is doing. But you can't allow yourself to go so deep in the tank or say it's overwhelming. We have to play this game right now. The Tigers can't worry about tomorrow or yesterday. They've got to play and win this ball game and not worry about what's happening the rest of the year.
How do the Brewers approach the final month now? Now, when they were in Boston and New York and did not fare well, there were quotes to the effect that that was a death trip. Now they're only 7 games out with about, 25 to play as the rain starts to pick up again here at Tiger Stadium. How do they approach this now? Because they can't get real excited because 7 games is 7 games, but they are still on the edge.
Well, I think what you look at is the team immediately in front of you and try to have short-term goals. The Yankees are playing badly right now. If the Brewers can stay hot past New York, then you go from there. You can't say we're going to make it up all in one ball game because you're not going to do it. But if you could take it that one team ahead of you, and I think what they're looking to do right now, Jim, is to have a strong, respectable finish. Finish a strong third. Okay, if that's been accomplished, and second is within range, and we still have games on the schedule, let's shoot for that.
Well, let's amplify on that in a moment. We'll be back. Let's take a break now as the Tarps come back onto the field at Tiger Stadium. You're on the Brewer TV Network.
For great personal service and low everyday prices, check the lineup at your neighborhood True Value Hardware store, where the September bargain of the month is the 2-step Easy Fold step stool by Costco. It gives you stability with a safety tread step that's 17 inches high. Lift the handle and it folds flat to store anywhere. In September, the Costco 2-step Easy Fold step stool is just $9.99, where you see the banner at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
When I played football, people said I was one tough player. But I not only outmuscled the other guy, I outsmarted him. I used my head. And a guy like me enjoys drinking Miller Lite, because Light's a less filling beer that tastes great. But the best thing about Miller Lite is that it shows a tough guy like me can still use his head.
Well, how's that, Gary?
You hit it right on the head. There's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Hardee's Garden Fresh Salads. We call them that because our lettuce comes from fresh lettuce. Our cabbage from fresh cabbage. And our carrots from, wouldn't you know it, fresh carrots. And now our freshest idea yet, zesty new chicken fiesta salad with tender marinated breast of chicken. Along with our chef and garden salads, it's a delectable thing we do to win you over.
I hate how they wrinkle my suit.
You ought to see my cleaning bill. No excuses. Seatbelts save lives. This is a reminder from your Century Food Store.
We are back in Detroit. Maybe the grounds crew had better information than Larry Barnett when they disappeared. All right, Larry, if you want us to take it off, we'll take it off. But
are you happy now?
They're putting it right back on. We are in the top of the 3rd inning, 2 outs. Jeffrey Leonard was at the plate when the rains just dumped on Tiger Stadium. The Brewers lead 1-0, scoring a run on 3 hits in the top of the 1st inning. So far, the Detroit Tigers have had 2 base runners, both by walks in the 1st, given up by Billy Wegman.
This is one of these rains that looks like it could go on. And this kind of rain, when you see it outside, after you've mowed the lawn, you think, this is perfect for the plants, right?
Yeah, this is the kind of rain we were all looking for in June.
But when it happens, when you have like a picnic planned, you say to yourself, well, that's it. Let's go to the movies.
Well, unfortunately, it's the kind of rain that's coming straight down and could just settle in here.
Yeah.
And neither one of these ball clubs need that at this point in time. Probably the Brewers a bit more suited to it than the Tigers, they are in tough shape as far as their staff goes anyway. Steve Searcy is pitching tomorrow. Well, they just called up from Toledo, and you know, Jeff Robinson, their ace, is hurting. Tanana missed his last start with a stiff shoulder. He's back throwing now, but both Alexander and Morris have pitched the last 2 times out on 3 days rest. So the Tigers can ill afford to have Tanana waste a start here tonight. And, you know, if this game were not to go to completion, have to play a doubleheader either tomorrow or Sunday.
Another part of that is Tanana is basically coming off a sore shoulder, and he may, in fact, be pitching tonight with a bit of a sore shoulder, but they're in such bad shape as far as the staff goes that they have to use him, so you hate to waste him, especially in that situation.
That's what I was saying. So they're in trouble.
I was thinking, wasn't trying to think of the guy's name, and it escapes me, the pitcher for the Tigers tonight. Tanana.
Yes.
Wasn't Tanana a fastballer 10 years ago before he had a major arm problem?
He was,
Bob.
He probably threw as hard as any left-hander in the league. When he first broke in with the California Angels back in the early mid-70s, he was a power pitcher.
That's what I thought.
Had an outstanding fastball, and he had that big curveball that he throws right now, but he probably threw it about 10 to 15 miles an hour faster. He was up there around 90-plus with the fastball and that big, hard-breaking curveball, and he was intimidating. He threw the same way. His delivery was the same as it is right now. Threw a little bit across his body so that when he threw to a left-hander, it looked like that breaking ball was coming from behind first base someplace at you. I think probably that a part of his problem, though, with arm problems, because when you throw across your body like that, puts a lot of pressure on your elbow and your shoulder. One of the reasons why they're trying to straighten out Bill Wegman a little bit and open him up. He was having some arm problems early in the year, and one of the things that they did with him was move his front foot, his plant foot, when he went to the plate, and opened him up a little bit in order to allow him to use the big muscles in the back of his leg and his back rather than throwing all arm across his body.
Chris Bosio, when he was throwing well, was not throwing across his body. They got him to correct that, and he had the very good run earlier in the year, of course.
But you're absolutely right. When Tanana was with the California Angels, as a matter of fact, I could be wrong, but I think I was going to say he led the American League. He did in strikeouts in 1975, 269 strikeouts. And look at that, he only walked 73 batters. So that's pretty good power right there, pretty good control for a young pitcher.
So this guy, in effect, had to relearn mechanics and delivery and the whole works.
What he had to do, Bob, is he had to learn how to pitch. Okay. You know, he was a thrower. He could get by making mistakes. He could overpower people. He could intimidate people. He still strikes guys out, but it's not because he wants to. You know, he'd rather get one pitch, one out, you know, ground ball pop-up. But he strikes people out now because he's got them way out in front or way behind. But he finesses them when he strikes them out, and he doesn't overpower them.
I can hear people right now saying, what's he talking about learning how to pitch? All major league pitchers know how to pitch. We've talked about this from time to time. There's a difference between throwing and pitching. Tommy John is a pitcher now. And what do you look at, Mike, when you talk about learning how to pitch and the mental aspects of it and how you approach it?
Well, you know, I guess we've got all night. We could talk about it all night. But most young pitchers, when they break into, you know, they've gone through Little League, high school, whatever, college, whatever it might be. And the one thing that scouts and the major league organizations look for is speed. They want to see power. So they're looking at guys that can throw 88 to 92, 93, 95 and above. And most of those type pitchers are conditioned to strike people out. That's the way they pitch. They throw a lot of pitchers. They either strike them out or walk them. You know, the old Little League syndrome and the high school syndrome. That's what they do. And at that level, they can get people out that way. When you get to the minor leagues professionally and then up to the big league level, you've got hitters who are disciplined. They're not going to swing at that strike that's high out of the strike zone that strikes people out. You're going to have to throw strikes. So there is that kind of discipline where you you learn that if you're going to pitch 290 innings a year, see, they could throw as hard as they could as long as they can if you're only going to pitch 10 ball games a year. But if you're going to run it out there 38 to 40 times a year and pitch 290 innings, you're not going to have your fastball every time out.
talking about youngsters who throw hard brings up the point about the radar gun. The more I'm around this game, the more I'm starting to wonder if that is a good tool when you put it on a young pitcher as opposed to a hindrance. Everybody is concentrating on miles per hour rather than the nuances of pitching.
Well, in terms of signing somebody, I think it probably gives scouts an idea of how hard a pitcher can throw. There were some guys over here when the Brewers first started using the radar that wanted to know how hard they were throwing every time out. I remember Bob McClure used to bang his head against the wall because he thought he threw 90, and he was only throwing 84.
There are still a few pitchers around who are concerned about that, too.
They are. But I think during a ball game, for instance, Treb and some of the other people who use it now don't necessarily worry about what they worry about is drastic differences in how a guy is throwing. If a guy starts out throwing 88 and by the 6th inning his best fastball is 82, you better get him out of there. He's lost 6 miles an hour on his fastball.
You could use it productively if you use it to determine fatigue.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
What do you tell young kids when you're teaching them how to throw and how to pitch about worrying about velocity?
Well, you know, we could plug the camps too now and all the teaching. But our philosophy, and I you know, in talking to Chuck Hartenstein, and I think most pitching coaches and people who handle young pitchers, we like to start kids out throwing fastball, changeup. Learn how to throw a fastball and a changeup. And if you can control those 2 pitches in the strike zone, basically what you've done is you've got 2 speeds. So you can you can put a little on, take a little off, and that's basically the key to pitching, is to change speeds. Now, as you get older and the muscles get stronger and the arm matures, then you can start throwing the breaking ball and learning how to throw it for strikes. You know, a youngster can be taught. You can, and I saw the Little League World Series, and I heard Jim Palmer making comments on the World Series, and I thought he made a good point. If a kid is taught right, the proper way to throw a breaking ball, so that he doesn't put a lot of pressure and strain on the elbow and the shoulder, and it can be done that way, then that's fine. But there are too many kids who will go out and experiment with it, and I hate to say this, or coaches who are teaching it the wrong way that will put the pressure on the joints. Then that's where the youngsters have problems.
I wish we had visuals to show what you're talking about, throwing across through a plane rather than snapping the elbow.
Right, absolutely.
All right, the tarp is off the field. We're going to take a break, and a note to our network stations. We will come back after that commercial and regroup, and if we figure something out about how to fill the time here that will affect you, we'll let you know about it. We'll be back in a moment on the Brewer TV Network.
Next up in the Best Dressed Brewers fan contest, Bertowinski.
Oh, look, he's wearing Unical 76 baseball team pins.
He certainly does look dazzling. Just look at that smile.
This crowd sure loves those team pins.
You know, Steve, I understand those pins are only 76 cents at Unical.
That's right, Dick.
Well, they look absolutely lovely.
Catch Brewers Pin at Fever at Unical. This week, the stadium scoreboard pin.
Now, if only Bert can hold on during the talent competition.
Buick's Best presents Bucks and Ducks. Get big bucks back on Skylark, Century, LeSabre wagons, or Electra Park Avenue. Use your bucks as a down payment or get cash back. Duck in today for bucks and enter Buick's Best Greater Milwaukee Duck Race. Adopt a duck for only $5. Grand prize this 1989 Buick Rayana. Enter at participating Hardee's, Century Foods, and Buick's Best dealers.
Pizza Hut has big news for cheese lovers. Right now, get a large Cheese Lovers pizza for only $9.99. It's loaded with a delicious blend of 3 cheeses: mozzarella, tangy cheddar, mounds of Monterey Jack, plus your choice of 2 irresistible toppings. So come in and try a large Cheese Lovers pizza for just $9.99. It's only at Pizza Hut, and only for a limited time.
Pizza Hut, making it great.
Co-anchors Liz Talbot and Dwayne Gay with Bob Bach Sports and Marlon McGee weather. Your 9 o'clock nightly news team on Super 18 WVTV Milwaukee.
Back at Tiger Stadium, we are in tarp removal, take 2, and the rain has stopped again here. The ground crew is trying to get the tarp off the field and resume action. We are in the top of the third inning under a rain delay. The Brewers lead the Tigers 1-0.
You know, Jim, looking at this ballpark is amazing to me when you look straight away to dead center field and you see the 440 sign and the two immediate corners leading into it from left center and right center at 400 and 415. That's almost like a drop-off in a lake. I can imagine that, you know, as a center fielder, you must think certain balls hit out that way, you have to take a cab.
Well, you do, and that's why they need a center fielder, and the Tigers have always had center fielders who can go get them. As a matter of fact, Chet Lemon, who has moved to right this year, a lot of people felt that he might have lost a step or two over the last couple of years, and that's why they moved him to a corner and brought in Gary Pettis. But I remember the days of Mickey Stanley out there. Stanley could go get him. I've seen pictures of him climbing that wall over that 400-foot mark, going after balls. The interesting thing about this ballpark, Bob, is as you look at the lines, 340 to left and 325 to right, where they start, and it goes out diagonally almost from there. It's not really straight, but there's a drastic drop-off from 370 in right center and 365 in left center, and that's, Jim, where Matt Noakes hit that ball last night over by that 415-foot mark. That just drastically goes out there. You got to hit it a ton to get it out there.
He hits it 50 feet toward the right field line, and it's out of the ballpark.
Yep.
You're absolutely right.
Well,
I like that analogy of a drop-off because at 370 and 365, it turns into a black hole out there in center field.
You could hit a ball to that 415 mark. You'd only be in right center here, but you'd be out in dead center. You'd be in the old Perini's Woods at County Stadium in Milwaukee.
Well, you'd be over the Brewer bullpen, that's for sure, in Milwaukee. But, you know, people love to hit in this ballpark. This is a great hitter's ballpark. We were talking about it a little bit last night. There's an enclosed feeling here, and as a hitter, you feel strong when you go to the plate. It looks like you could hit the ball out in any part of this ballpark, and a lot of guys can, but you just go to the plate and you know if you hit the ball well, it's got a chance to get out of here.
I'd almost have the feeling if I was a hitter here, which you were, that you were almost playing in a theater with the double-decker seats that go from foul line to foul line. I mean, if you can picture a theater that had a roof that looked like the natural sky and what have you, but the fans are so on top of the action that it would be a wonderful thing to be able to stand there at the plate, I would guess.
Well, it's a great stadium. You know, and you would hate, they're talking about making the same kind of decision here that they are in Milwaukee, whether to spend $100 million to renovate this or build a new one. You know, the sentiment is, my sentiment would be to spend the $100 million and renovate it, because I would hate to see the Tigers leave this ballpark just as you would hate to see the Cubs leave Wrigley or the Red Sox leave Fenway.
$6 million short term to repair what has to be repaired here at Tiger Stadium, and as Mike said, about $100 million for long-term repairs. Frank Tanana is back on the mound. Larry Barnett is out. The tarp is off the field, so hopefully we will be back to action in the third inning. 2 outs, top of the third. The Brewers lead the Tigers 1-0. And we have a little more time.
Well, Bob, we knew that there was going to be a rain delay. That's why we had you come over here tonight.
Yeah, I was in the bullpen, folks. I still couldn't get anything over, but they said bring them in anyway.
Well, it's September, and we talk about guys hitting balls out of this ballpark. I think it was September, and Mike Keegan hit for the cycle here. I never get tired of hearing that story, Michael.
Did you really?
Oh, sure. First Brewer to do it against the Bird here at Tiger Stadium. And let's see, I think Michael has the only opponent cycle in this ballpark since 1940.
Wow.
Pre-World War II. And it has been done.
I thought it was 1940 when I did it.
It only seems like that long ago.
Well, you know, somebody was asking me about that last weekend. One of the Tiger writers, Tom Gage, was asking me about it. Apparently, he had been delving through the media guide and came up and saw that little-known fact and wanted me to recount the sequence. And the only thing really that I do remember about that, I had one triple all that year. That was the only triple that I hit. And I hit it that night. And the only reason that I hit the triple was because Rusty Staub was playing right field. Le Grand Orange. And I hit a looping fly ball into right center around that 370-foot mark, and I think Rusty tripped over his shoelaces or something And by the time he looked up and got the baseball, I was able to make it to third base, huffing and puffing. But it was that was the only triple of the year.
We were talking to Dave Bergman at County Stadium last weekend about triples in this ballpark, and somebody said it's a good triples park. He made the point, if you hit the ball to center field, that's where you normally would have to hit the ball here to get a three-base hit. Same as Chicago, Comiskey Park. Robin, of course, hit for the cycle there this summer, and he hit his triple to dead center field over the center fielder's head, and that's what you would have to do here under normal circumstances.
Either that or have Rusty Staub playing right field. One of the two. We could bring Rusty back.
Well, you did that against the Bird. What was he like that night?
You know, again, the Bird, of course, Mark Fidrich, and unfortunate end to his career. Boy, what a future he had. He just kind of burst onto the scene, and he was a guy who reminded me a lot of Mel Stottlemyre, who pitched with the Yankees. He had a very sharp breaking sinker and a good slider. Just one of those nights where, and there were 40,000 people here at Tiger Stadium. I don't know if you remember back when he pitched.
Yeah, they used to pack him in.
Boy, they'd pack him in all over the country because he was the guy that talked to the baseball.
That's right.
And so there were about 40,000 people here, and the Bird just didn't have it that night. And I think we beat him 11-2 or 11-3 or something like that. But I'll never forget. After that, I think we came back in early the following year, and the first time that the Bird faced us, Don Money at the plate, and as I said, the Bird had the habit of looking at the baseball and talking to it, and Money hit a home run, and somebody from the dugout yelled, "Hey, you forgot to tell it goodbye."
Let me give you some names here. George Sisler, Ray Schalk, Bob Musil, Joe Cronin, and Mike Keegan. Opponents to hit for the cycle here in Detroit. Let's pause for station identification on the Brewer TV network.
You're watching the Brewers and Tigers on Super 18, WBTV, Milwaukee.
All right, we are back. Jim Paskey, Mike Keegan, and Bob Bach with you from Tiger Stadium. The Tigers are on the field, and the grounds crew has done an outstanding job here tonight. And it looks like we will be back in play shortly. Jeffrey Leonard is strolling toward the plate. We have 2 outs in the Brewer half of the third inning. Milwaukee scored a run in the first and leads the Tigers in game 2 of this 4-game series 1-0. Leonard had not seen a pitch in this plate appearance against Tanana, so he will start with no count. Jeffrey struck out on a called third, an inside pitch that caught the corner from Tanana in the first inning. Tanana cleaning his spikes as the infield and the mound are damp after a heavy rain here in Detroit.
Thunder and lightning still around, Jim. You can see the lightning over the right center field fence past the lights out there. This is one of those situations where you speculate what kind of an effect the delay may have on the pitchers. Bill Wegman warming up down in the bullpen, and you know, Frank Tanana coming off some shoulder problems. You wonder if he might not stiffen up a little bit through the delay. We shall see.
What do the players do during the delay?
Hang around, just like we do.
Talk baseball?
Talk baseball, yep. Tell stories.
We are back underway. A swing and a miss by Jeffrey Leonard. Play resumes at 9:03 Eastern time.
I didn't expect that they went out for dinner or anything.
The 0-1 pitch. Grounded foul outside of Davey Hilton at first base. Well, we had plenty of time to mention it, but failed to do so. It's time to tell you that our Miller Lite rally inning contestant tonight is Chuck Bilo of New London, Wisconsin. Chuck wins a Brewer warm-up jacket and now has a chance at the VIP package at County Stadium if the Brewers score in the 7th. Flag down, a smash by Leonard. Whitaker got it and throws Jeffrey out. That'll do it in the 3rd. 2.5 complete. Took a while, didn't it? 1-0 Milwaukee on the Brewer TV network.
Thank you, everybody. That's it for today.
After a long day of eating hot lead, there's nothing better than drinking a cold Miller Lite. Light sure tastes great, and it really is less filling.
Shoot, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Hey, Joe, give me another. That didn't fill me up at all.
Hey, kid. Hey, you want a watch? Take a look at this here. This ain't no ordinary watch. This is a digital. It tells you the time, the day, the date. It even gives you the seconds there. And this fashionable Brewers logo. And it's free from the Unical 76 people. Hey, if you like it, here's all you got to do. Go down to County Stadium Monday, September 5th. Anyone 14 and under gets one free on Unical 76 Digital Watch Day. Hey, how can you pass that up? Hey!
You wouldn't think of doing this to your house. Yet every day, you do it to your deck. You need more than an ordinary house stain. You need Cuprinol Deck Stain and Preservative. Engineered to take the kind of punishment your deck gets every day. Get the Deck Protector from Cuprinol.
This year, the third generation of Schmidt Brothers celebrates 75 years as Wisconsin's oldest Ford dealer. It's a family success story that could happen nowhere else but here.
Bottom of the third inning in Detroit. After a 40-minute rain delay, we are back in action. Gary Pettis will lead it off against Bill Wegman. Lou Whitaker and Pat Sheridan will bat in the Tiger half of the third. Well, I'm going to try to read these notes while I can still make out the writing here. Kristen Pallione is here celebrating her 21st birthday. She's here with her sister Chris. Wants to say hello to all of her friends in the South Tower at UWM. I guess they're getting ready for school, and Kristen wants to say hi. Gary Badura, Betty Shaw, and Diane Rollins are here. Billy Wegman making his final warm-up tosses as he begins the third inning. Wegman walked 2 in the first and then worked a 1-2-3 second inning. Pettis batting for the first time in the game. He was 1 for 3 last night and is now batting .234 against the Brewers, .216 against the league. Pettis, a switch hitter at the left side of the plate against Wegman. His average .212 from the left side, just 4 points under his season totals. Pettis spending some time on the disabled list earlier this year with a hand injury. 0-2 the count. Lou Whitaker waits to bat. There's a ball, 1-2 now. Texas leads Toronto 5-4 in the third tonight. Minnesota with a 4-1 lead over Kansas City in the third, and Chicago is leading Cleveland 3-1. They are in the fourth inning. He got him. Strikeout number 2 for Wegman. Pettis goes down for the first time tonight.
I don't mean in any way to sound simple-minded, but I don't know that fans realize how close a pitcher is to the plate when he releases the ball. You know, when you have a position like we do tonight broadcasting, you can really see a guy with the height of Wegman releasing that pitch from 60 feet away. By the time it's off his hand, he's probably 50 feet from home plate or 54 feet away.
53, 54 feet, especially a big guy like Wegman. That doesn't give you much reaction time, does it?
It's about a half second, isn't it? Here's a pop-up behind the plate. Charlie O'Brien has the mask off. One pitch, and Whitaker is retired for the second time tonight. He has grounded out and popped out to the catcher.
You know, that's why it's so important, Bob, for pitchers to get themselves a good balance point when they land, when they deliver the pitch, so that they can feel the ball coming back at them, not only to help themselves, but to protect themselves.
The thing that I think is almost unbelievable, Mike, is hitting against a guy like Nolan Ryan or Dwight Gooden that has that blazing speed, or even a Ted Higuera, a guy that has the speed and the pinpoint control. I mean, they seem to have such an advantage on a hitter.
Well, you need good hearing against those people. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Line to right by Sheridan, a base hit. The first hit Off Billy Wegman, a 2-out single to right by the Tiger left fielder.
You know, you hear stories at times about a guy not seeing, the guy throws so hard that you can't see it. We're playing the California Angels a doubleheader on a Sunday afternoon in Oakland back in 72 or 73. Sheridan goes down, get a pretty good breaking ball, but drills it to right. Nolan Ryan pitching the second game of the doubleheader, and I had sat around for about 16 innings, and finally in the 8th inning went up to pinch hit. And at that time of the year, it was late in the year, the shadows were on the pitcher's mound, between the pitcher's mound and home plate, and Nolan Ryan wound up through the ball, and I guarantee you, I did not see it. I heard it hit the catcher's glove, and the umpire said, strike. And I did not see the pitch. I said, uh-oh, I am in trouble, folks.
Fred Lynn, how about that? 316 against the Tigers with 25 home runs, and he has driven in 102. Now he's working for the Tigers, wearing number 9 on that white uniform. And he has a base hit to right. Back-to-back 2-out singles. Lynn moves Sheridan over to second base. Well, a hockey player in this town wore number 9 on his back. Gordie Howe. Ted Williams wore number 9, but Tiger fans like what this number 9 is doing so far. 2 base hits in 2 games.
Looks a lot more comfortable tonight than he did last night.
I would think that, well, he had a long day yesterday, too, talking about, and probably a little over-anxious last night, even though this guy's a veteran.
I would think it would be tougher for him tonight with all that nervous energy yesterday. You come to a point where you just shut down, and usually that happens after the active day, but he is 1 for 2 tonight. Here's Evans. He walked and was stranded in the first.
Well, let's see how O'Brien and Wegman decide to work to Evans. I got a feeling they're not going to give in to him here in this situation. One of the reasons that Evans has walked so much, Jim, is really the Tigers behind him have not had a whole lot that can pick him up. Get into certain situations, you're just not going to pitch to this guy.
1 ball and 1 strike. 2 on, 2 out. Wegman had 2 on and 2 out in the first inning when Lemon hit a ball deep to right that Deere caught at the fence. Wegman can't get it. Gantner does and forces Lynn. Oh, that's right. Swaim playing on the second base side. It's an out, a force out. 6 to get Evans. No runs, 2 hits. 1 left. 1-0 after 3. Mike coming back with the 4th on the Brewer TV Network.
Right now, the only thing that would taste better than a nice cold one is a cold-filtered one. Yeah, if you want a beer whose real draft taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, we've got it down cold. Cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
It's as real as it gets.
No matter how you drive, drive your engine clean with Mobil Super Unleaded Detergent Gasoline. It can unclog fuel injectors and keep your entire fuel intake system clean. Drive your engine clean with Mobil Super Unleaded, high octane, with a plus. Get a free Packer's glass with every fill-up of 8 gallons or more of Mobil Super Unleaded Plus.
Just down the road, there's a place with a sound all its own. Chicken. The only chicken grilled at the border. New grilled chicken fajitas from Taco Bell. Juicy marinated chicken. All wrapped up and ready to go. Price sounds juicy too. Just $1.39. Sounds like a border run. New grilled chicken fajitas.
Taco Bell has a roar to make a run for the border.
For spectacular 2-4 savings on everything in the store.
Make it Cars. Make it Cars.
The 2-4 sale's on now.
There you see the 3-inning totals. We had a rain delay of about 40 minutes in the top of the 3rd inning with Jeffrey Leonard at the plate. The Brewers scored in the 1st inning off Tanana. A leadoff bunt base hit by Paul Molitor. An infield single by Yount. Take that back. That was a swinging base hit by Molitor. A bunt single by Yount, and then an RBI single to left by Robbie Deere. So Robin up there for the 2nd time tonight. And fouls a breaking ball at the plate. Along our network tonight, WMSN, TV 47 in Madison, WGBA, TV 26 in Green Bay, WLAX, TV 25 in La Crosse, WPGX, TV 28, Panama City, Florida. Inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes, WFGX, TV 35, Fort Walton Beach, Florida, and WAOW, TV 9 in Wausau. Of course, all brought to you by our flagship station, Super 18 in Milwaukee. 1-2 pitch coming to Robin, and again, Tanana misses inside. Count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Robin came in hitting at .305, among the league leaders in hits with 159, total bases 240. So Robin having another solid year. Hit to short right field. Lemon is there, 1 out. Tanana is a local product. He is a Detroit native. Those are his numbers at Tiger Stadium this year. A 7-3 record. Brewers trying to drop that to 7-4. Ooh, big cut by Robbie Deere. Talk about intimidating, Bob, from the other end. When you see Deere take that big stroke as a pitcher, you want to flinch. Boy, there are guys who they talk about with that great power, breaking stuff. Wow, did he have Deere fooled. He started him off with a fastball and took a lot off that big breaking ball.
Way out in front.
Everything was gone, wasn't it? So Tanana ahead of Deere, 0-2. Another big breaking ball. Noakes will tag Deere. Strikeout number 3 for Tanana.
Mike, you talk about guys hitting the ball hard, and I was watching batting practice tonight. The same thought occurred to me as it always has when I watch batting practice, and that is major leaguers hit the ball very hard. They don't swing hard necessarily, but they make fantastic contact.
I don't think the fans, even in the ballpark and watching on TV, understand how hard the balls are hit.
I mean, when there's a shot laid down off the turf to one of the infielders or a hit to the gap, that ball is ripped.
Yep. Schroeder grounded into a double play his first time up. Hits this on the ground to Brookins. Easy play, easy 1, 2, 3 for Tanana and the Tigers here in the 4th. So after 3.5 from Tiger Stadium, the score, Milwaukee 1, Detroit 0 on the Brewer Television Network.
For great personal service and low everyday prices, check the lineup at your neighborhood True Value hardware store, where the September bargain of the month is the 2-step Easy Fold step stool by Costco. It gives you stability with a safety tread step that's 17 inches high. Lift the handle and it folds flat to store anywhere. In September, the Costco 2-step Easy Fold step stool is just $9.99, where you see the banner at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Okay, Pumpkin. See you soon. Imagine me a grandma. But it sure makes the holidays fun. And I enjoy making special meals. Century makes it easy.
special Labor Day picnics start with fresh sunrise ground beef in packages of 3 pounds or more, just 98 cents a pound. Fresh bakery hamburger or hot dog buns are 6 for just 68 cents. And pick sweet, juicy green seedless grapes, only 66 cents a pound.
Thanks, Sentry.
It's back. This Friday night, come to Best Buy for more midnight specials. We've marked down hot items in every department, because if we're working late, we want it to be a party. Singles welcome. Get this RCA VCR with remote for just $186.99, and you won't miss a thing on TV the next time you're out. And with no payments or interest till February '89 on all GE appliances, we know you're going to want to bring them all home. We're open till midnight Friday night, and it'll be a ball. That's Best Buy. It's madness to be anywhere else.
Take care, Tommy. This Labor Day weekend, when we tell you come back, we mean it.
Bill Wegman and the Brewers hanging on to a 1-0 lead here as we head to the bottom of the fourth. It will be Lemon, Noakes, and Salazar. Lemon sent Deere to the fence in right field back in the first inning and sends this one deep, but hooking foul down into the left field corner. Lemon hitting .262, 9 home runs for Chester. Big breaking ball, easy fly ball. Now drifting back is Leonard, but makes the catch for out number 1. So far tonight, Billy Wegman has pretty much had it all in control. Good command of both his fastball and his off-speed pitches. Tell you though, Jim, his last few times out, he has gone all okay, and then all of a sudden the roof caves in. The big inning gets him, the big pitch, the home run.
Well, he has given up 18 home runs to lead the Brewers staff. Still off his pace last year. He gave up 31 a year ago. He's a little bit behind that. You can attribute that to any number of things, and one of them might be the baseball.
We've talked about that too. They have taken the rabbit out, performed a million operations, and taken the rabbits out. 1-0 to Matt Noakes, the Tiger catcher, and he gives it a ride to center field, but Robin is there, and there are 2 out. That ball hit right on the button by Matt Noakes. Well, there are as many theories, I guess, this year as there were last year, talking about the baseball.
About the only thing I've never heard is that the ball is different between the National and American League. I've never heard a controversy over that. I've heard the ball being livelier and this year being deader, and I've heard you guys speak about it at considerable length. But I've never heard there being a difference between the ball used by either league, which at least they've got one and one count.
Well, I think they're both made in the same spot. They make them down in Haiti.
Well, you wouldn't want there to be differences between the 2 leagues, would you?
No. Designated hitter.
Artificial turf.
Artificial turf. High strike zone, low strike zone. There's a strike to Luis Salazar.
That's my favorite rule in the rule book. The first rule. Baseball will be played by 2 teams with 9 players on each team, except in the American League.
A comebacker to Wegman. Easy 1, 2, 3 for Billy here in the fourth as the Tigers go out. So 4 complete now from Detroit. Brewers leading 1-0 on the Brewer Television Network.